Please welcome Andreas Weisenborn and Brian Applegarth, founder of Cannabis Travel Association.
So we started the journey in 2020 realizing that we have to enter the foray into cannabis and hemp. I quickly found one name and one name only, and that was Brian Applegarth.
Where is there opportunity to do something extraordinarily meaningful to uplift our visitor economy and make it new and current and updated and interconnected and on brand, like all of those things. And again, all tying back into resident quality of life and serving as a community alignment vehicle for your destination and perfecting that exercise, whether it's cannabis or beyond. So in May 2022, there was 25 billion in legal cannabis sales in the United States specifically, 4.5 billion of those attributed to the visitor economy. For every visitor dollar spent in a cannabis retail shop, a multiplier of $2.80 came to the local economy, putting the valuation of the cannabis travel trend in the United States in May 2022 as a $17 billion opportunity. Of course, with states legalizing and education growing, that continues to scale. And the United States is estimated to reach 33.6 billion by the end of this year. By the end of 2030, 71 billion. And to the data point Andreas put forward earlier, by 2030 on the global stage, $444 billion industry. So if you value numbers and economics, relevant industry opportunity abound, and that's not even mentioning the industrial hemp industry, which is the same plant, but a different puzzle. Arguably, according to that ratio of 1 per 7,500 people, Quebec could support another 1,064 cannabis shops in that province. So what does this mean for destination development? You know, when I look at a data point like this, of those 1,064 shops in Quebec, is there anybody looking at it with a critical eye of how are we developing the visitor economy of cannabis to support travel and tourism in this modern age with this new research, with this new information about cannabis and how cannabis is truly a travel trend anchored in well-being and wellness? And the consumption experience includes spas, wellness centers, beverage bars, and yes, smoking lounges and vaping lounges. But it's really a whole new world when it comes to cannabis. And I believe there's opportunity here to take a really proactive, data-driven role in visitor economy development, specifically visitor ecosystem development. As we start to look at the existing retail shops and the capabilities that they're allowing at the local level that are compliant at the state level, what is possible when it comes to enabling innovation, to supporting stability and success of your stakeholders and license holders, and how do we create strategy with community in tow that is aligned and sustainable and keeps Desert Hot Springs at the forefront. So I've been studying the cannabis motivated travel audience in partnership with MMGY Travel Intelligence since 2019. We're gonna look at the most recent data, a couple of the key data points from the most recent Portrait of the American Traveler study we did. The cannabis travel audience today in the US, this is the active leisure travel audience, right? So not medical, this is the active leisure travel audience. 37% of the active leisure travel audience in the US is cannabis motivated. That's about 72 million people in the United States. Nearly 6 in 10 of Gen Z and millennials want to have or have interest in having at least one cannabis experience while on vacation. You can see there's a few different archetypes. You have the canna curious, canna wellness, and the cannabis connoisseur. Of course, visit a cannabis shop, it's a novelty experience. This is an attraction, right? So being able to point people in a place where they can not only access safe tested products, but can experience a modern day cannabis retail shop and lounge that is on brand for your destination and giving a great experience is the most popular activity. The other ones that continue rising are visiting a cannabis sampling or tasting room, which now do exist in California, by the way, and then visit a California lounge or cafe. Notice the passive one is below the active one, a curated sampling, a curated tasting, and enjoying a lounge or cafe, of course. In this situation too, they look at smoking and vaping as something of interest. And further down, you see experience a mildly intoxicating cannabis-infused spa treatment. What a concept, what a great opportunity for innovation. Another really interesting data point from this year's POAT is interest in experiencing cannabis effects that complement or enhance food experience, fine dining, or local signature dishes. And right below it, interest in experiencing cannabis effects that complement or enhance art experience, like mural walks, theater. This is the connective tissue. As food pairs with wine, cannabis pairs with activities and experiences. And different varietals and different cultivars of cannabis, we're increasingly getting the research and learning what types of cultivars activate certain senses as a precursor to that environment you're walking into. So this engages the restaurants, it engages the arts and culture, and all of a sudden there's strategy unfolding, sending a visitor throughout the ecosystem to maximize the economic impact while creating a rich modern day cannabis experience. The second case study is a destination marketing organization. So Visit Oakland really wanted to get to it. They wanted to start talking about all their cannabis assets, the history, the legacy. They knew it was on brand. They knew it was progressive. And the more they dug in, they saw the value. So what we did is we created the Oakland Cannabis Trail. It is an evergreen experience. It's a storytelling platform. It's a connective tissue to the cannabis stakeholders. It's an opportunity to teach them what it means to not just be a cannabis retailer and be transactional, but what does it mean to be part of a greater brand where you're an attraction within that visitor ecosystem. We got some, FAQs and know before you go content up on the website. We have some cultural landmarks, and I want to speak to that for a second. Oakland actually had the first equity licensed cannabis shop in the world. And I'm going to tell you why this matters. It matters because an equity license in cannabis was somebody who was negatively impacted during the war on drugs. Therefore, they were prioritized in the spirit of restorative justice. So all of a sudden, if you layer in a cultural landmark along a cannabis trail and you celebrate being the first equity licensed cannabis shop in the world, now you're able to dig into culture, which for me is travel. If you get to hear a travel story, and if you get to hear about why that equity license is being celebrated and what that means to this community that was targeted during the war on drugs, that is the essence of travel. How do you coach and nurture and steward this new kid on the block that's in your destination? What does that mean from a travel audience point of view? How does cannabis sit as a sub-brand under your greater brand vision internally, just for guideposts? And what is your travel audience? Where are the overlaps? Is it the kind of curious baby boomers that are looking for topicals and spa treatments? Is it the wellness traveler that wants to be led by a shaman and do self-reflection? Or is it the cannabis connoisseur who wants to access the most premium, high-quality cannabis in the world and sample a flight of joints or smoke some fine hashish? It's all part of it. Destination organizations offer valuable information that provides context around the current cannabis travel landscape and identifies data-driven opportunities grounded in sustainability, sustainable destination development, specifically development related to tourism centers and visitor ecosystems. So what's the call to action for this? Further develop your DO, your destination organization, into a valued information source with a specific point of view that is visitor economy, development minded, and community aligned.